When I enter into the patient's rooms to do evaluations, assessments, and physicals for diagnosis, or when developing treatment plans, I have an interpreter in the exam room with me. I place the interpreter behind the patient, rather than by my side where it would create a distraction. In the many years that I have been in medical practice, I've only had about 3 patients complain about the logistics of the interpreter. 3 out of a countless array of patients I've worked with. The reality is that I have to be the one to set the expectation from the minute I walk in the room. Hi, I'm Dr. Featherstone. This is the interpreter. How can I help you today? I was accepted by a medical school, which was great. I filled out and returned the paperwork they sent. After it was accepted and approved, I got in touch with the school to kindly request an interpreter. They immediately had concerns about cost, logistics, and whether or not deaf people were even capable of attending medical school. This went on for months, and my request for an interpreter morphed into an analysis of my capabilities as a deaf person, and not about finding an interpreter. At this point, I had attended BYU and had already worked for 1 year as an operating room technician. During that time, I had demonstrated that I was able to perform multiple tasks in the OR, including work with other doctors. I received a certified letter in the mail that informed me that my enrollment in medical school had been canceled, and that my acceptance into medical school had been regretfully withdrawn. The reasons were threefold. First, my attendance would mean changing the curriculum for the medical school. Second, in an emergency situation, a deaf physician poses a risk to the patient. And third, that a deaf person is a distraction to other students and will negatively affect their educational experience. Those were their reasons. I was taken aback by this. I started with doing some research in hopes of finding other deaf doctors. I found one deaf doctor on the AMPHL website, the Association of Medical Professionals with Hearing Losses. I found this neat fellow, Dr. Christopher Moreland. I asked his opinion, and he was able to put me in touch with a phenomenal lawyer. And they validated that I was not wrong. I showed them the evidence and emails I had collected that proved I had been discriminated against. My lawyer wrote a letter to the school warning them that this would result in a lawsuit if they didn't remedy their error. He gave them 1 week to respond. We heard nothing back, so we went forward and filed a lawsuit. Just before medical school was about to start, I had my pretrial hearing where the judge ordered that I attend medical school while the lawsuit was in progress. So I started med school. The legal proceedings took 2 years. So those first 2 years of medical school were stressful with my studies, plus going to frequent legal meetings preparing for trial. It was tough. Finally, one day the school called and indicated they were willing to negotiate and work together to find a resolution. We did, and from then on everything went well. Clearly, we deaf people have a lot more challenges than typical, but we shouldn't allow that to stop us. We must keep trying. Even if you fail, get up and try again. Don't think that you're alone in your roadblocks, because you're not. You have a full army of people behind you, rooting for you to keep going.